morning. I'm Nisha Grant, Steve and Jackie Leno Grant's daughter, and Russ Leno's eldest granddaughter. We appreciate you being here this morning to share the memories of our father, grandfather, and uncle. Grandpa touched the lives of many throughout the years, and the size of the crowd gathered here today is a true testament to that. Grandpa was a strong, kind, generous man who loved to spend time with his family. He had an extra special place in his heart for the youngest members of our family, and the little ones were just as fond of him. In speaking with my younger brothers and cousins, we have many fond memories of visiting Grandpa. When he worked at the cemetery, he would show us around, taking drives together, going to the mud bogs, watching sports, Wheel of Fortune, riding the lawnmower, and just sitting outside at the picnic table, visiting. Grandpa was a well-loved, highly respected, and greatly admired man who will be sorely missed. Although his passing has left us all feeling empty, we can take comfort in our memories and honor him through our actions. He is no longer with us in body, but he will live forever in our hearts. I would also like to share something written by my mother on behalf of her. Growing up with Dad as my teacher wasn't always easy. He was strict and had high expectations of how he wanted us to grow up. We always worked together as a family. He liked the house clean, the yard neat, the wood stacked and brought in, and his rigs clean and tidy. Dad was handy and could fix almost anything. He built bunk beds for us when we lived at DeWalt's, and it seemed was always making repairs around the house. This is how, as a girl, I learned the difference between a wrench and a socket. He would need tools as he worked, and he would send us kids running for them. And when we brought back the wrong tool, he would give us that look and ask us to go back to the toolbox. He was patient, but one time, after my third trip, he threw it down, said some choice words, and went after the tool himself. Sundays were always special. Often he would get up and drive me to Sunday school. Some Sundays he would cook breakfast and let Mom sleep in, which she had earned 100 times over. Many weekends also included a drive to the coast. We would pile into the station wagon, stop and pick up Graham and Gramps, and head out. The highlight of the trip was stopping at Otis for a pronto pup. Dad was not satisfied with the mediocre. He always pushed himself to be better and to do better. He was accepting of all people and did not judge. Even when he thought someone was wrong, he did not verbalize it. He taught me the values of hard work, generosity, and giving back. He loved his community and was proud of the contributions he could make to improve it. Most of all, he will be remembered as a man who loved and cherished his family. Thank you. I would like to invite my cousin Jennifer Leno to come up, and I believe she wants to share a special story of her and Grandpa. And my other cousin, Lindsay Ness.
Well, I don't have time to share all the stories that I do have with my grandpa, but one in particular that I felt like I had to get up here and say is something that just happened not too long ago. We had this deck around our house, and I don't know how many years it'd been there for, but it was pretty wobbly. And I'm not a small girl, so, I could tell when some boards are weak. And I was helping my cat, who was choking up a hairball, and Grandpa and I were outside. I jumped over my cat, and next thing I know, I'm smacked down on my knees. My hands are flat on the floor, my knees dangling through the deck, and I'm down on this knee. And Grandpa's standing there. And at first, I thought he was really concerned. I thought he was crying, actually, because he had to take off his glasses and he kind of bent over a little bit. And so he comes over to me and he's going to try to help me up. And I'm like, no, Grandpa, watch out. You might fall down too. And then so then I look up and he's doing this. He's going. And I'm thinking, oh, he's upset. So I start rubbing his leg and I say, Grandpa, it's going to be okay. It's all right. I'm okay. That's when I realized that he was laughing. He was laughing so hard that he had to take off his glasses. He had to get out the old hanky and he had to wipe his eyes. Now, it wasn't enough that he laughed that day, but anytime somebody came over, someone who hadn't heard the story, he had to tell it again. He had to tell Uncle Ron, he had to tell Uncle Randy, he had to tell Dar and Jean, Barbara Jean when they'd stop by, and he'd laugh just as hard for weeks and weeks afterwards. So yeah, I just thought I would share that because it really made him laugh. He loved to tease me. There, for the past few months, I kind of thought that maybe, I don't know, even my mom said something. She says, gosh, he sure does get a kick out of teasing Jen. And I thought, yeah, he really, really does. My grandpa was a very, very good man. I've learned so much from him, as I know the rest of our family have. One of the best things that I can say about this entire experience is that we did it just the way Grandpa would have wanted. We had all of our family there. We had all of our friends. We had tears. We had stories. We had laughter. Little beer. We had our entire house full on that Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and Tuesday. We had our driveway filled with cars. We had our phone ringing off the hook. This was exactly the way I used to hear about how it was done in the old days. This is how they did it for my grandpa's brothers and sisters, how they did it for their aunts and uncles, and how we shall continue to do it for the rest of our family. Grandpa was a great example of what family meant to people and how it should be. And I just wanted to thank, especially my Aunt Judy and her entire family, for seeing us through this difficult time. You guys were great. We could not have done it without you. And I joked around that night when Grandpa had passed, and some people had cleared out, and we were just sitting there. And I told Aunt Judy, I says, well, you just got 5 more kids, 10 more grandkids, and 6 more great-grandkids. And then I said, and Christmas is at your house this year. She said, I'll have my room ready. I have a funny story, too, about something my grandpa really enjoyed, which is logging. Back in 1979, when I was just born and when Adam was